Well, there we saw and heard from the Secretary of State as he gets ready to leave Saudi Arabia at 9:34 their time, heading to Israel. And as a matter of fact, NBC's Richard Engel is in Israel. He is in Jerusalem at this hour. Richard, it's good seeing you. So let's talk a little bit about what the Secretary of State was just talking about, the issue of whether Saudi Arabia, that has to play such a significant role in anything going forward, could have a still continuing interest in having essentially at the end of the road relations with Israel. But there are a lot of issues still to be determined.
So it's good to be back with you, Jose. And I think we heard an important statement from Secretary Blinken just now, and he laid out a 4-point plan to ending this conflict, as he has heard in the region. Secretary Blinken has been traveling in the Middle East. He's been traveling in Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Qatar before that. He's going to go to Egypt later. So he's going to all of the countries. He's been to Jordan as well. So he's going to all the countries around Israel, countries that have a vested interest in stability here. And he's been listening to what they have been saying. And now he's going to come to Israel and try and push this agenda forward. He laid out this 4-point plan, which was interesting. He said that there should be a single Palestinian government. He said all the voices that he's heard from have said that there should be one single Palestinian government in the West Bank and Gaza. Right now, there is Hamas in the Gaza Strip. Hamas carried out the October 7th massacre, lost its legitimacy. So to have one government strongly suggests that it would be one government that is not Hamas, potentially the Palestinian Authority in the West Bank, or some newly revitalized Palestinian Authority, because the Palestinian Authority has not had elections in a very long time, and its current leadership is deeply unpopular. So that's one thing he's going to try and bring here on his agenda tomorrow. But the Israeli government under Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu does not support seeing one government controlling the West Bank and Gaza Strip, has specifically said it does not want to see the Palestinian Authority taking over Gaza. So already one point of contention. His second, he said that he wants to see a situation at the end post this Gaza conflict, or a new phase of the Gaza conflict, where Israel can live in peace and security. I don't think he's going to have any problems pushing that over the agenda here. That is something that clearly the Israelis want. But the fact that he has heard that across the region is something that he is going to be bringing to the discussion, saying that he's been all over the region. People want Israel to be able to live in peace and security with these other 4 points. Third, he talked about integration. That's exactly what you were talking about. He sees that integration is a path in the future. That means more normalization agreements, folding Israel more into the Middle East political fabric, which is what we were starting to see potentially with the Saudi normalization deal, and which we've already seen with the Abraham Accords. And then lastly, ending that this process would culminate in a return of the peace process and a path to Palestinian statehood. Now, that could potentially be the most problematic one, because Prime Minister Netanyahu and his coalition, the most far-right coalition government in Israel's modern history, does not support a two-state solution. So he will have at least 2 of his 4 points will be very challenging when he comes here tomorrow.